Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so guys, today I'm bringing you another tutorial on why your cakes or cookies might be bitter. So every baker's dream is to make cakes or cookies that taste really wonderful and they're well reasoned and sweet. You don't want to bake something that has an aftertaste or taste bitter. So today I'm bringing you guys solutions, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why your cake or your baked goods might taste bitter. So let's go. Okay, so guys, one of the mistakes people make is when your recipe calls for baking powder and you think, okay, you don't have baking powder but you have baking soda. You can't just substitute baking soda for baking powder. It doesn't work like that. So if you do that, you do like a straight substitute for baking powder for baking soda because you have baking soda at home, your recipe is definitely going to taste bitter or have a bitter aftertaste. Okay, so number 2, another thing that can make your baked goods taste bitter is when you use a baking powder that has aluminium sulfate in it. Yes, so some baking powders have aluminium sulfate in it, and usually like it gives your baked goods a bitter aftertaste or like a metallic aftertaste. Some people are more sensitive to this aftertaste than others, so someone else might taste it and someone else might be like, oh, I didn't taste anything, it tastes just fine. So if you think you are sensitive to that, make sure you buy a baking powder that is aluminum free. Number 3, so another thing that can make your cake taste bitter is if your cake is burnt. Yes, so if your cake is burnt, of course you've tasted, even if you're cooking rice and it burns, it is going to taste bitter because when something is charred, it has a bitter taste or it has a bitter aftertaste. So if you bake a cake that is burnt, it is definitely going to taste bitter. So sometimes even if you scratch off like the burnt part, it still tastes bitter. So it's left to you. If you decide the cake is too bitter to be eaten, then you should dump it and bake another one. Okay, so number 4 reason why your cake might be bitter is maybe your recipe calls for coffee and you used a lot of it. So normally, like coffee has a bitter taste without sugar if it's not sweetened or anything, and sometimes the sugar in your cake is enough to mask the bitter taste of the coffee. But sometimes if you use a little more than the recipe calls for in your cake, it is going to be bitter or have a bitter aftertaste. So make sure you read your recipe and use it right. So lastly and finally, one of the reasons why your cake might be bitter is maybe you are baking a chocolate cake and you're baking with cocoa, and cocoa is bitter, yeah. Okay, so like when I was doing the research for this video, I found some pictures online of like some babies having dark chocolate for the very first time and it obviously does not taste pleasant. So when you're baking with cocoa, normally when you're baking a chocolate cake, you're adding a lot of sugar to like supplement the bitterness of the cocoa. But sometimes maybe you're baking a sugarless cake, or you're just trying to be healthy and you're cutting down on the sugar and stuff. The bitterness of the cocoa might like taste through because you're not using enough sugar. So I really don't know how to advise you on that or what you should do, but these are the reasons why your cake might taste bitter. So thank you guys, and I hope this video is useful to you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.